Welcome back everyone, this is Newbie9000 again, and today is all about the Emil 1951, which was just released on the shop for 12,500 gold or 15,000 gold if you are willing to spend some more for the legendary camouflage. But I want to show you whether this tank is worth it, and therefore I'm going to have a quick comparison to the Emil 1, which is the free tech tree tank. So it's going to be interesting. First of all, the tank stats here. The gun and the DPM is pretty much the same on both of these tanks. Also, they look pretty similar. Therefore, there is not much of a difference between those tanks yet. There are some differences that I want to point out here. First of all, it's the alpha damage. 310 and 320 does not sound like much, but it will make a little bit of a difference when it comes to the trading. It will be a little bit easier if your damage or alpha damage is a little bit higher. On the accuracy also, it is almost the same. The accuracy on the move is a little bit better on the Emil 1951, but you've got to keep in mind that there's the vertical calibration, the aiming consumable on the Emil 1, which the Emil 1951 does not have. I also put the Semur SM into the comparison here. It is a French tier 8 premium autoloader, which will probably be released soon, yet these stats here might be subject to some adjustments, so we don't know about that. But just so you know, maybe this tank will be released soon, and it seems to be pretty good. Also, the armor of the Semur seems to be quite nice, but we are going to see how this tank is going to be released. Let's have a look at the armor of the Emil 1951 and the Emil 1 now. And we are seeing like the turret is like there's a big contrast here. On the left side we do have the Emil 1951, which is almost completely gray, and on the right side it is pretty much the opposite armor model. It is almost completely red on the whole turret, except for the sides if you are in a good angle. Also the sides here, as you can see on the Emil 1951, it is pretty easy to penetrate these with AP, but on the Emil 1 you will not penetrate at all, because you will hit the tracks only. Let's get into a drag race here, and both of these tanks will have a little race on Dynasty's Pearl. The speed generally is not much of a, there's not much of a difference. There is only 5 km/h better top speed on the Emil 1951, but the power to weight ratio is also better, and therefore you will notice that difference in game. Even though you have to keep in mind that the Emil 1 does also have the special speed boost, while the Emil 1951 only has the regular cheap one, which does not have such a big impact yet. On this comparison here, the Emil 1 is using the special speed boost, and the Emil 1951 on the left side is using the regular one only, and still we can see the Emil 1951 is faster than the Emil 1, and you will definitely also notice this when you do not have the speed boost ready to move around the map. Okay, now I do have two little replays here for you, and I'm going to quickly explain a little bit more about the playstyle of this tank. Also, you can apply the same tips for the Emil 1 as it is pretty much the same tank. And I'm just going aggressive here, as I do notice, okay, 2 heavies only. I could have also gone for the medium flank here, thought about this, but I felt like, okay, never mind. I will just push through, and whenever I meet something, I will maybe return or fight them. Okay, I find a challenger here, which is quite alone, does not seem to have the biggest clue of what to do here, yet I'm a bit afraid of getting pushed. Therefore I fall back here. Do notice there's a heavy tank on the other side. Therefore I decide to go in again and use my last shot to maybe put one more shot into some running heavy or the challenger or whatever. Okay, and I've got time for the reload. This is something that does have its pros and cons. On this tank, you do have these 21 seconds of reload time in between your clips, and therefore you will have a lot of standing around, a lot of time that you do not do anything. But this is also quite nice to some degree, as it allows you to think about the situation a little bit and think about whether it's worth going forward or backing off or whatever. And this is the reason that I like autoloader playstyle in general, as you do have these options. You do have the time to be patient and then go aggressive, put out a whole clip, and whenever you are empty you can form back again and think about where to go next. Okay, I put in a nice shot into the cupola of the Object 252U here. I did not really want to take the shot, even though I could have probably taken it to take him out safely. And now I notice my team is dying, but I do have time again. I can just stand around for a little bit and reload my clip before seeing where I can put it in again. I would like to avoid the T-32 for now, as there are multiple low hit point targets on the other side of the map, which I can possibly reach by going for this balcony over here. But I do not really want to get shot from the right side, yet I take the risk here. Okay, I want to also mention that this playstyle, it is a bit boring sometimes, to be honest, as you are really not the fastest tank. Your aim time is also not the best, even though it's not bad, but you do not have the best accuracy on the Emil 1951 as well as on the Emil 1 as well. So you will have to be patient, or when you're going for snapshots you risk missing them, which you mostly do not want to do on an autoloader, as you do not have the best DPM. Yet it is, especially on the Emil 1951, now you do have to be a little bit careful about not getting out-traded when standing in the open for too long and aiming in for too long. Therefore, sometimes it's worth going for a snapshot. In this case here, I could have also aimed in a little bit longer, yet I did notice that my teammate was coming from the left side, so I hoped to steal the kill here, which I did because my RNG was with me. Okay, I noticed the points are ticking over, and therefore I will just go in. With the Emil 1 or Emil 1951, just be a little bit careful about not going alone, which I did in this game. But I noticed, okay, enemies do have only 2 heavy tanks, therefore it was highly unlikely that they would go for the heavy side. So I could decide either to push with the mediums or just go very aggressive on the heavy side to not leave my mediums to die before I am able to get to the fight. One more replay here for you, which is on Yukon, and you will see on this game a little bit more on what makes this tank a little bit critical, let's say like this, as this tank really does not have the best armor, as you will see in a second, and people will generally penetrate you with AP even. And that's sometimes a bit of a problem, yet I felt on my first games like I like this tank. It's, I don't know, it's like the Emil 1 was well balanced without the special consumables, then you would have this tank. It's really not an OP tank, but it is also a little bit better armored than the AMX, and therefore this tank does have its place. Yet with a lack of turret armor you do struggle a little bit sometimes, as you also do not have the mobility to compensate that. But the accuracy is alright if you are going for some shots here on hull down, but you do notice I get punished hard. I get punished heavily by everyone, and they are just penetrating my turret through the gun mantlet even. And this is something that you've got to keep in mind with this tank, that you are not safe to peek, as you do not have the armor to bounce off everything. But yeah, still hull down is the way to go, and you should just try to keep a little bit of a different distance to the enemies, so you can have time to back off while reloading your clip, and then put out a whole clip into them again, which is just the usual autoloader playstyle. Only difference is that with this tank you do have a little bit better armor, even though really you cannot rely on this armor. But that is mostly the case for every tank. Maybe on the Emil 1 you will definitely bounce some more shots, but you still cannot rely on always bouncing all the shells, and that is something you always have to keep in mind. Okay, just going for the cap here as I do have the time while reloading my clip, and I go in again. I do see that there are two mediums flanking around from the right side and pushing our two one-shots on the right, but I do not want to mess with them at this point because I see that I do have some backup with me and the Foch is quite alone over here, so I'm aiming in for some safe shots. Luckily I did not get focused. I would have wished to back off here, yet I was not able to, as I would have probably got shot. And therefore I decided to just stay and ask my teammates for help, while I already expect somehow that the other medium is going for C, as he is right now. And I'm not too safe here anymore. If he penetrated and if he shot me again, I would be dead. Therefore I needed to back off a little bit. There is this high down position in front of me that I was also considering to take, but I was not able to without taking a shot. Therefore I have to be a little bit more careful here to not waste the game by dying, as the points are ticking over and enemies are still quite healthy. So I wait for my teammates to move up. Still wait a little bit here for my clip to reload and get behind the T-34-1 to maybe put him a clip, yet I'm not able to at this point, as my mobility is not fast enough and he's able to take out the AMX. Could have gone for the cap here, yet I think if the T-34-1 decided to run away, then I would not have had a chance. And therefore I decided to just go in as he is running away from the WT to surprise him from the rear maybe and cut off his way. Alright, so to conclude, this tank has to be played a little bit more careful than the Emil 1. Is it a good tank? I would say so. I think this is a good tank, yet the Emil 1, it's stronger. I think it's a little bit stronger than this one just because of the armor and the special consumables. And also the Emil 1 is free. If you want to enrich the Emil 1, it will cost you around 14,800 gold. It's a little bit more than the price of this one, but this tank is still quite new, so its price will get reduced in the future. Yet I do have to mention that the credit coefficient of the Emil 1951 is really nice, and as I'm an autoloader guy, I really enjoy having some premium autoloader in my garage right now. I got this tank from the crates, from the surprise boxes. I did not buy it. I do not think I would have done so. If you are a collector, then maybe go for it already. This tank is definitely not a bad one, yet you will sometimes not be happy about getting penetrated by everyone. And therefore, yeah, it's not like this tank was an OP tank that I would highly recommend, yet it is not bad at all. Okay, so much about this Emil 1951 on this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if so, then don't forget to leave a like, leave a subscription to the channel, and see you on the next streams and videos.